Underneath the mournful expanse of a bruised sky, Ashwick lay cloaked in shadows, the tight-lipped town seemingly swallowed by a silence too heavy for the living. An unshakable fog slithered between the gnarled trees, wielding thick tendrils that wrapped around the buildings, their whispers plotting against the unsuspecting slumber of the town's handful of inhabitants. Robert Ellis, a struggling novelist, had come here to excavate inspiration, yet all he unearthed was a gathering dread that clung to his skin like the pervasive humidity that accompanied the deepening twilight. Every nightfall, he would sit hunched over his typewriter, wrestling with remnants of forgotten stories, the rhythmic clicks of the keys echoing a futile heartbeat in the oppressive quietude. But it wasn't the stillness that unsettled him. It was the way his thoughts seemed to dissolve in the hush, slipping like grains of sand through gnarled fingers. Shadows flickered at the edges of his vision, and the pallid light from the solitary lamp cast unsettling shapes that crept over the pages, blurring what limited clarity lingered there. On the third evening, a shudder rippled through the town, almost like an exhalation, accompanied by the unsettling echo of a distant, dissonant hum. Robert, peering through the grime-streaked window, saw nothing but the persistent fog, its depths concealing what lay beyond the veil of civilization. Yet, it felt as if a primordial presence coiled beneath the surface of his reality, a lurking intelligence tucked away, waiting for an unwary thinker to pry at the edges of its domain. Soon after, odd occurrences began to plague his routine. The fruit on his counter began to rot at an alarming rate, swathed in a thick, grayish mold that seemed to pulse with a life of its own. One hellish night, he noticed strange symbols etched faintly into the wood of his typewriter, curlicues reminiscent of ancient scripts, long lost to time. The characters laughed at his ignorance, their meanings elusive but heavy with malice. He pondered their origin, spiraling downward into an abyss of his own creation. Was he losing touch with reality, or had the very essence of his space twisted into something alien? As insomnia tightened its grip, the hum crescendoed, unsettling his mind further. Days and nights merged, lost to a storm of celestial aberrations. Ghostly apparitions danced in the corner of his vision, fading when he turned to meet their nightmarish gaze. With ferocity, his pulse quickened at the thought of an intelligence manipulating these phenomena, probing him through a cruel lens of observation, a hidden witness bearing weighty secrets concerning mankind and the cosmos, which lay just beyond comprehension. That night, when the fog pressed hardest against the windows, there was an unmistakable knocking at the door, wood upon wood, resonant and demanding. He wanted to recoil, curiosity battling against profound instinct as dread coiled around him. Opening the door revealed vast nothingness at first, until, dimly illuminated, figures emerged from the opaque fog, silhouettes that shimmered with an iridescence neither of this world nor the next. They hovered between existence and the intangible, eyes like chasms, plumbing depths of understanding lost to humanity. Robert, ensnared in the throes of horror and revelation, felt his mind stretching thin, gasping in desperation as they drew closer. Their features were vague, constantly morphing like a reflection on water disturbed by the wind. Voices coalesced into a haunting symphony, whispering fragments of knowledge that wormed into his skull, unraveling the fragile tapestry of his thoughts. He felt their hunger, an insatiable thirst for the essence of consciousness, a yearning to possess the very fabric of what it meant to be alive. As his vision blurred and his consciousness began to splinter, the alien forms extended translucent arms, reaching for him. Within their malefic embrace, he grasped the cosmos, the brutal truth of existence, a reminder that humanity was but a fleeting whim in an indifferent universe. Agonized and exhilarated, Robert clawed for sanity, caught in the crossfire between the horror of knowledge and the eerie draw of acceptance. When the dawn breached the fog, washing everything in a pale light, Ashwick woke with the certainty of uneasy stillness. The consternation of the night was a nightmare fading into memory, yet the remnants of its grip tightened around his mind. The typewriter, his lone witness, now sat silent. The expected words turned to dust as he battled the void that echoes in every thought's periphery. He could feel the extraterrestrial presence luridly etched into his mind, an indelible mark left behind by forces that surely couldn't be named. As he stepped outside into the haunted daylight, a question bedazzled his faculties. What had he truly garnered from their presence? As he walked through the empty streets of Ashwick, the insidious fear nestled in his heart, tickled his cognizance. The once familiar vistas seemed tinged with an alien distortion, an unending lurking dread, as if everything around him pulsed with the reverberations of eyes unblinking, knowing more than he ever could. The sound of laughter echoed faintly through the fog, yet it was not his own. Thus, the town remained haunted, enveloped in mystery, with Robert Ellis the unwilling custodian of its dark secret, a chilling fragment of realization. Some doors should never be opened.